upon my flesh is by his hands. All stripes fade, no tears will stain. No man's hand will stay risen to strike my face, for I am two open palms in a field of fists. When my enemies scream surrender, I will smile and not contend, for flesh rots and riches burn, but that is because they are consumed by the fire that fills my chest, that fills my breath. My tongue strikes the air like flint, my words are dried wood. So, when a single spark slips from my lips, it sets Babylon ablaze. But the day has not yet come when my reflection and myself are one and the same. So, the skin of my body is the skin of a drum. Every lash across my ribs conducts percussive song. Scarred by 16 bars, a note for every flaw, each wound connecting like constellations. For I am Ursa Major. Then father the sons and daughters, children unaware of their place amongst the stars. But great love cannot be contained, like wine in jars of clay cracked in thinning pottery. For we are a cup, trying to contain the ocean, overflowing and drunken from our contents, intoxicating spirit. Gushing forth from our fissures and cracks, our bones may lay brittle, but in death they'll be stacked. Blazing funeral pyre scraping against the heavens, an indication of our crowning destination. For we are made of dust and breath. Living only starts in death. Our souls remember steps, our heads have no place to rest. For we wave no flags, we give allegiance to no empire. For the kingdom that we serve is underfoot, unseen. It's not upon the backs of an ass or a pachyderm. Beasts of a burdened political system would ask, who are you? We reply, I am not. I speak on behalf of the great I am. We speak for the one with a voice like a trumpet call. Isa, living water, bridegroom, great shepherd, burning bush that was not consumed, teaching us that the greatest victories are indicated by the great needs of the servant, the ones who pad their footfalls by walking on hand and knee. And our backs will become bent in the shape of a bell curve, Gaussian functions indicating that we are dictated by our hearts, and we bend north and south from there. So awake, O children of Zion. Understand that the lamp that you hold in such high esteem only blinds you. Let's not cling to the safety of steeples and spires, totems of glass and mortar, built to echo till their voices become one sound that they think is our God's speech. So do not sit with bated breath, stock straight ice, straight ahead in wooden bastions. For as a great friend once told me, there is only death in our safety, and we serve a God that breathes. Yeah. Sometimes I hear you singing in the downpour, so I constructed my house with a tin roof so I could adore you from a distance. Masochist? I must be, taking your love in any shape that you gave me. Hail is a hell of a first embrace. Your touch-rain rush hour tracks the yells of blues upon my ribs, making me hesitate. But I quickly learned it's better to steal a kiss when you're evaporating off the pavement than be caught drowning in your presence when the barometric pressure dips. The fog on my glasses is the only reminder that you still exist. But I still decide to play the human rain gauge. Every rainfall, gathering the few pearls of existence that my raincoat collects, filling you in buckets and cups, trying to arrange your precipitate portrait as it once was. But there you go again, splashing against my windshield as I drive past, the wiper blades catching your silhouette as it cuts the last drops you diagonal against the pain. And the weatherman is now my personal seer, prophesying from my radio, speaking in tongues of atmospheric conditions and pressure systems, dictating when we'll next meet. I'll be ready with my guard up this time. The forecast calls for sleep. So, I got a quick set, you know. I'm a hardcore dude, so everything's short and sweet. So, I'll take a little time to talk right now. Well, I think events like this are awesome. I'm not going to go stand in a soapbox and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, you know, there's a real sense of community. There's a truth in being together, and it makes me really, really happy. It makes me feel like amazingly blessed to just be able to be here with everybody. not dive in too much into personal life or anything like that. But you know, I grew up around here my whole life, and I've been a few places, been back, and I'm going away again because I feel like I need to. But you know, in the end, I found something so special in the people around me, and I just want to thank you very, very much because I don't know when I'll be back. You know, so I just wanted to take the time and just say how much I love you guys. I really, really appreciate you. So, we're going to dive into the next one. It's called To My Future Kids. Theme of this year has been struggle. The theme of this year, I think for a lot of people, everybody I talk to, it's possibly the hardest year of their life. So, this came to me in January when I was working in ministry in Amsterdam, and you know, I was a mess, I was a wreck, and God showed me, you know, what it means to be healed. So, and that's a continual process, but you know, just woke up one day and I just wrote it there. Just had to. So, this was called To My Future Kids. Don't wipe your hands on our pets. That's what napkins are for. And no, chocolate milk does not come from brown cows. Spaghetti sauce is not the same as water because your goldfish cannot survive without oxygen or the boiling liquids made out of tomatoes. Pulling the emergency brake in my car while the vehicle is in motion is not okay. The hole at the bottom of our toilet is not for exploring. Your arm will become stuck if you explore too far. The 911 operators never find your late night conversations as funny as you do. Believe it or not. If the teacher ever calls home and couples your name with the words explosion or fire hazard in the same sentence, I will always side with them. And beer was made for drinking, not chugging. They give it a flavor for a reason. Being a teenager does not give you license for stupidity or the right to drive. But you do have the right to sing out loud. Singing is for the tin-eared and musically impaired. The ones who think that treble clef is something fixed with plastic surgery. When you open your mouth, you are Sam Cooke in his prime, Marvin Gaye, and Al Green with 10 times the charm to let anyone tell you differently. Because songs may pass the lips, but they start somewhere between the shoulders and hips. And that's where the soul resides. And all souls are equal. Dancing is not just for school functions. And no, it's not the motion that people make in music videos when they're trying to make their zippers kiss one another. I give you permission to stake every walking surface as your own personal dance floor, as if you were a footloose Christopher Columbus, and the only way to claim the Americas was to do the electric slide. And you're going to discover the conversations are best at 4 a.m. The heavier the eyelids, the sincerer the words. Those are the talks that you'll remember. And remember, it's okay not to know the answer. And silence is not awkward. It's shared. So share it more often than not. And labels are for soup cans. And when you were a creator, you weren't mass-produced. And pornography is only two people getting paid. Authentic romance does not begin when the background music starts. Son, your sweetheart is not a princess. She is a temple, and your body a burnt sacrifice. Daughter, your lover is not a knight. He is a compass, and you a map. So do not treat each other like glass with delicate hands, because like dough we need to be punched and kneaded to know our weight and worth. Remember that sincerity may not gain you friends, but keep having this from your heart. Love the world. Or love God. For you cannot do both. Just don't grow up too fast. Don't be afraid to run so fast that both your feet leave the ground. Hopefully the same time that you stop learning is the same time that you stop breathing. Because every kid is born with color vision, but adults have chosen to see the world in black and white. So when someone offers you a pair of 3D glasses, take them like your life depends on it, because it does. The adult world is full of numbers that make your head spin. And wallets and bank accounts that are filled with abstracts that will tell you, you are what you make. You are what you have. You are what people remember you to be. But remember this, if nothing else, that you have a God and Father that says, I always was, and I always am. And your empty palms and open heart are enough for me. Short set, one more. I guess might as well if I'm doing a story time real fast. This one's about kids as well. I guess that's been an odd theme in the last couple months for me. But when I was dating this girl, she was teaching third grade in Korea. So I went over and I got to see her for a week. And she had a class of like 13 kids. Some of them were from military families that are stationed. Some of them were born in Korea. Most of them were, if they were Korean, were half Korean, half American, which means you're pretty much a third-class citizen in that country if that happens. You don't have hope of a higher education, not much of anything else. But the kids had they had the energy and the audacity of about a class of 40, and they were a handful and kind of awful. And kind of shitheads sometimes, but they were great. They were fantastic. Like if you got the kids down, like, okay, hey, we're going to go and let's draw something, or let's make some art. The kids were like, didn't say a word. Didn't say a word. It was nuts. The things they came up with, like it didn't look like anything, but then you ask them like, what is this? And they give you the most intricate answer, and you're just like, this is beautiful. This is utterly beautiful. These kids are just unrestrained. And, you know, if they were put in classes in the States, they'd be like, how many different, acronyms can we throw at them? How many things can we, give them for prescriptions to make them settle down? Which I'm not saying that's not always the case for a lot of kids. I know kids that need that. But, I feel like there's big culture for over-medication for a lot of people, especially kids, So this one, I don't even know if I have a name for it. So this is new. We're going to see how it goes. Your peers and teachers tell you to sit down, be quiet, stop looking out the window, sit in your seat correctly, face the board, stop doodling in your textbooks, they cost money. And parents give acronym suggestions while the doctors in turn fill prescriptions, numbing you to the point where you can no longer see the dreamscapes that fill the corners of your textbook. There, the edges where your text stops and the crayon canvases begin. There, where the text stops and the crayon canvases begin, framing the crossing of Delaware and the Great Sphinx, the wax bleeding in the history, mixing George Washington's features into a color wheel with no beginning and no end, until the teacher looking over your shoulder sees what you see. You long to grab her hand and trace her fingers over each swirl of color on that dog-eared page. Ask her to close her eyes and see it. Can't you see it? His synopsis aren't misfiring. His inability to sit shouldn't be contained by a water-soluble leash. Lines of perpendicular crosswalks, opportunities for ideas to bridge. Markers are meant to be embraced by wooden desks. They look so much better together, don't you think? But instead, they hang a ball of stream catcher above your bed, kiss her head and lay down with good intentions. And by morning, your wayward thoughts are caught by Adderall strings and blown off by the daylight. And I just want to kneel down to your height, look at you in the eyes, and tell you, I see. I see you kindle your thoughts at both ends until they meet in the middle, combusting like dry leaves. They are tender, and they unfold out of your mouth like morning flowers. But then, speaking with a boldness that comes from not having mistake be a part of your vocabulary. The words come tumbling out, hot and untempered, each syllable bumping into the last, making it impossible for those to keep up, but it's okay. Because you're beautiful and deserve to be heard. Because you are beautiful and deserve to be heard. You can have an imagination. They are easier to carry than responsibility, and their shoulders are so very slight. It seems it's impossible they would ever fill a business suit, let alone take on disappointment. If it were up to me, I wouldn't change a thing about you, because the world forgets how to dance by its own tones. Yet you still skip sidewalk cracks with perfect rhythm. There are no rehearsed strides between your heels and the concrete. Each step acts like a conduit to God, because this is what you were born to be. The only thought being the next step, your fingers reaching ever forward, knowing that you will never fall.